What's happening, weirdos? I am thrilled. If you listen to this podcast, you know that the episodes that I love the most are when I get to sit down with someone like this, with Richard Rohr. Father Richard Rohr, who's written books that have absolutely changed my life and millions of other people's lives. Absolutely unbelievable person. I call him my spiritual father. I'm so glad you're here. He has a new book. I'm holding it up right now if you're watching this on the YouTube. The Tears of Things, his new book, Prophetic Wisdom for an Age of Outrage. It is timely. I'm so glad he wrote it. I'm so glad that he's not done. There's so much for him to say about these times we're living in. So check it out. I got it on audio as well, which is wonderful. So check out The Tears of Things and everything that Richard does. I start my day by reading Just This, which is a very short chaptered book that is a wonderful way to start your mornings. And I also love The Universal Christ very, very much. These are incredible books. And everything he has on YouTube and everything he has on iTunes, I love this man so much. And I'm so glad you're here. You're going to hear how loving and generous and warm he is. And it's just going to, hopefully, for what it did for me, do for you. Do for you what it did for me. That's what I meant to say. Meaning make your day better and brighter. So check out The Tears of Things by Father Richard Rohr. He is incredible. This is his third time on the podcast. Only a couple things to plug, and then we'll jump into the episode. I am on tour. If you're listening to this the week it comes out, I'm in Irvine, California this weekend, followed by San Jose. I have a show in Los Angeles, then Houston, Royal Oak, Michigan, Washington, D.C., Boston, New Hampshire, Spokane, Washington, St. Louis, Missouri, Cleveland, Chicago, just announced, Chicago on November 6th, Homestead, Pennsylvania, and Atlantic City. And as I say every week, New York will be announced soon. Those are going all the way into November, though. All of those are available on PeteHolmes.com. And if you like this show, try one of our sponsors, because our sponsors are actually things that I use and truly love. It goes like this. I find something I love, I reach out to them. And one of those things that I love, and of course that I'm wearing right now, is the perfect jean. Father's Day is coming up, and if you're like me, you struggle knowing what to get for your dad. Well, as a dad, I'll tell you, perfect jean is the perfect pair of pants. It's a little bit of stretch, but they're designer looking, perfect feeling. They feel like pajamas. You might even forget that you're wearing pants, but they also have some incredible basics. It's not just jeans. They have buttery soft organic cotton tees that make your arms and your chest pop while slightly hiding that belly so you can save the gym for tomorrow. That's nice. That's a good dad gift right now. Each tee pairs effortlessly with the comfort shorts for the perfect casual warm weather style, and for special occasions when you need to dress up. They have den khakis, which is like a denim khaki, which I love, and polos that are in-office approved but give you that PJs at noon work from home comfort. I love these pants. I love these tees. I love everything the perfect jean does. It's the perfect word for them because they are perfect. So it is time to finally stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners get 15% off plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use code NOHARDPANTS15 at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code NOHARDPANTS15. After you purchase, tell them that we sent you, that this podcast sent you. That helps us out. Support our show. Support your pants. Get the perfect jean. Fuck your khakis. Get the perfect jean. We're also brought to us by our friends at Dadgrass. Val and I are on our way to a dinner party. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I do enjoy hemp. And Dadgrass makes something called Leisure Drink, which I am obsessed with. It ships legally to all 50 states if you're over 21. These are delicious, sparkling cans of yuzu-flavored goodness that finally offer a casual, lighthearted way to have fun and relax your body and your mind with your friends. I've been putting them out at parties. I've been sipping them at family movie nights, which made The Parent Trap a lot more fun. It's not going out into outer space. It's just taking that edge off, not a trust fall into a black hole of obliviousness where you can't follow the plot of even a simple movie. 3 milligrams of THC and 6 milligrams of CBD and 2,200 milligrams of lion's mane per can. That's mild dose and sessionable for a mellow experience. Happy and relaxed without the hangover, and it's of course stackable for a bigger buzz. Fast acting, meaning you know how you're going to feel within 10 minutes. Leisure Drinks and all of Dadgrass's products are amazing. They have joints, they have gummies, perfectly dosed, not too crazy for dads, not just dads, but it's got that flavor. It's got that style, like something that's not too intense, but is going to help you enjoy yourself. Go to dadgrass.com/weird and use promo code weird for 20% off. Try the leisure drinks. It's going to up your summer game. I promise you, dadgrass.com/weird. Use promo code weird at checkout. All right, everybody, let's get into Richard Rohr, The Tears of Things. So glad you're here. Get into it. This is the third time you've been on this podcast, and this podcast is it's not sort of, it is how we met in Laguna Beach that one time in person.
Beach, I remember.
And what a life-changing encounter that was for me and for so many of our listeners. And I'll never pass on an opportunity to say what a gift you are. Specifically, your teaching, which I think is your love language. That you aren't the special boy necessarily, but I think you are, but your work has transformed and helped so many people, and specifically people on this comedy podcast come out of the woodwork to tell me how much you've shaped how
that makes me happy.
Yes, wow. How they look at reality. What's better than that?
What's better than reality?
And I want to talk about the book, but if it's okay, I had a very specific thing come up that I wanted to ask you about. Is that all right?
Sure.
It's sort of also, I'm just going to have to try not to just love on you the whole time. But when I've
always do,
when I've spent time with you, the thing that I always tell people is just what a seer of people you are, an appreciator of people you are, and that when we would just be going into a hotel or something, you would greet somebody in the lobby and just really reflect their dignity and their reality and see them. Like you took a moment to see them. Yes. I mean, that is what I was so moved by. I'm sure you've heard I didn't come to learn from my master, I came to watch him tie his shoes thing.
I haven't heard that line.
Oh, that's a Zen thing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I came to watch my master tie his shoes.
Wow.
And the times I've spent with you, watching you tie your shoes, I wasn't grading you. I was just so touched to see. Here's my question. I'd love to hear your reflection on this. When it comes to kindness, Richard, you've lived this life, and kindness and seeing everyone as brother or sister or God's child or the very same essence that we all are. I'm curious, what role has conversion played in your kindness? Are you kind out of an effort, like a good Kansas boy, out of being polite, out of wanting to be loving because it feels good? And how much of it, this is a very heady question and maybe it's not a good one, but how much of it is recognizing the sacred moment that right now we're talking to ourselves, that you and I are the same. We're branches on the same vine. And when I can be converted and have a God encounter, when I see you, I'm not being kind to you, I'm recognizing our shared essence.
You're answering your own question. You are.
Welcome to the show. I can't stop doing it. I want to hear your thoughts, though.
It's both.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said I approach every person with that God image glaring at me. Many times it's a hard choice. People who irritate you or whatever. So it's
unhealthy fours.
But it's coming much easier as I get older.
Yeah.
I don't let the eccentricities of people irritate me.
Really?
As much.
Do you think that faded away naturally?
Yes.
Because obviously, I think a lot of us confuse conversion or enlightenment or self-realization with being nice and being happy and being calm.
That's such a sellout. I always say the word nice is never in the New Testament.
Yes.
Victorian politeness is not gospel love.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. But isn't it interesting that, let's say we went to watch our master tie his shoes And he did get mad about something, like he lost his temper. Like, we don't know what to do with that. We don't know how to, like, it's much easier for me to include other people, but when it's my own rage or disgust or whatever, pick your thing, it's really hard for me to go, I too am a lawful expression of the one. Suddenly I'm a wicked little boy on the outside.
Very good. Have you heard as a good Catholic boy, I've got to say it. Have you heard the motto of Pope Leo?
No.
Yeah. I'll translate it for you in Latin. In illo una, in the one, unum. In illa una, unum. In the one, we are one.
Yes. Wow.
I think any of the world religions can respect that.
Yes.
It hasn't received a lot of publicity yet.
Well,
Of course, I'm overjoyed with him.
yes. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good.
I never met him before, but I sure like what I'm seeing.
Oh, that's wonderful. Of course, I thought of you. You're my closest person that would have a real vested interest in the new Pope. So I'm glad to hear this. And wait, did he say the en uno unum thing?
It was in the press.
Oh.
It wasn't from his voice, but you have to choose a motto, so it's somewhere in the Vatican, I guess.
I didn't know you choose a motto. How fun.
You have to have a motto.
And that's a very non-dual motto.
And very universal religious.
And very universal religious.
Yeah.
But I mean, would you talk a little bit about, I've become much more non-dual in the years that I've known you. And I've had some authentic encounters at the intimacy and the impersonality. It's impersonal and it's intimate, meaning it's all these paradoxes. It's nothing, it's everything, it's everybody. Asking God yes or no questions makes no sense to it. You make that quote, there's one thing that God can't do, which is add or subtract. Do you remember that poem?
Yes. Yeah.
So when we talk about oneness, it gets really tricky to talk about. It's probably why it's so unpopular, right? It's not very special. If we're all in, if we're all one, we lose our shininess and we lose the fun of being included. Isn't that right?
I liked what you said right at the beginning. It's both impersonal and
intimate.
Intimate.
Yeah.
That shows you have to have experienced it to give such precise words. That's excellent. You didn't learn that from me. You learned that.
Well, I'm very fortunate to have had that experience. And there's a sort of, I know you know this, there's a like a weeping or a laughing. There's a real, you have that comparison of trying to please God as like our children bringing us these crude crayon drawings, and God puts them on the fridge. I think I've told you this before. I asked this non-dual, this oneness, if it loved or knew Pete. Because, there's this idea that complete perfect oneness couldn't even really know about Richard or Pete. It's perfect. It can't know things subject to object. But when I was sort of in that way and asking it that, it was like, do you love Pete? It was like, that's like asking the ocean, will I get this wet or will I get this wet? It's like, it's all I do. All I am is wetness. Like, bring me anything. You could say, do you love my imaginary, like if my daughter said, do you love my imaginary friend? I would say yes, and I would mean it. You know what I mean? Like there's
I saw how you loved your daughter. God.
Yes, I'm so glad.
How old is she now?
She's 6 now.
6, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you've gotten to see her, and I hope you get to see her again.
I do too.
But do you know what I'm talking about? That unquestioning abundance, the love of God, I guess, the sort of embarrassing gratuity of it.
Embarrassing gratuity. That's what I'm trying to say in this book.
Is that right?
and you've summed it up. My God. You know, you're a bit of a philosopher.
You stop it.
More than a comedian.
I'm trying. Well, that's certainly true. I'm trying to nudge you into the faucet.
Something profound.
No, look, if this is just you telling me that I understand, that'll be nice for me. I just know people would love what part of your new book does that make you think of? How does that resonate? The embarrassing gratuity.
Yesterday, they interviewed me on the last chapter of the book, which is on love. I quote the English Franciscan William of Ockham, speaking of philosophy. Did you ever hear of the name?
No.
William of Ockham. He invented what's spoken of in philosophy class as Occam's razor. Have you ever heard of that?
I do know Occam's razor, yes.
Okay. The summary of it is he develops it much more with much greater complexity. The truest answer is the most simple one. And he expressed Franciscan simplicity philosophically. And I use that as the beginning of the final chapter in the book, that I say the truest answer is that it's all about love, which sounds so sentimental now, and so overdone and so Valentine-ish, but defining love in the most sophisticated theological, philosophical, psychological way, that's true.
Yes.
It's all about love. It really is.
It has been co-opted by the chocolate and greeting card peoples, right?
Yes.
Well, I don't think we can say this enough. I'd love to hear you. I'll start you off. Love is not just a good feeling, or love is not just a preference or liking somebody, right? It's more radical than that.
You know, the quote I've been using, you tell me, is it Tolstoy or Dostoevsky? Love is a harsh and dreadful thing.
Oh, wow.
Do you know who said that?
No, I don't think I've heard that.
Love is a harsh and dreadful thing.
Tell me why.
Well, I don't know what his thinking was exactly. I have to look it up before I quote it again. When you walk the plank of love and surrender to anything, affirm its inherent goodness apart from you, which is what you're doing when you love something. You're setting yourself up for trials down the road, because you've got to be faithful to that. You know that as a married man, although I know you have a beautiful marriage and a beautiful daughter too. So maybe the trials haven't come yet. I hope they don't, but they will in some form. Sickness.
Yeah.
I do a lot of marriage counseling, and even the most lovely couples can reach impasses where two loving people just can't get out of it, can't get out of the desire to not love, to withhold myself. So to continue to give yourself. That's what I believe, and you've heard me say it ad nauseum, but the two paths of transformation before the way of the cross, before Buddhist meditation, are great love and great suffering.
Right.
And those are universally available. I dare to think they were available to the Stone Age people in their own primitive, beautiful way.
Well, that is why that teaching is worth repeating. I don't think it's ad nauseum. Nobody is nauseated. I can't hear it enough because, unfortunately, I was thinking about what you said the other day, where I was like, if it's just on the span of time, if it's just people who had access to the gospel and Jesus's crucifixion, when you look at creation, how many people had access to any sort of transformation, any sort of conversion? It's a joke in the span of time. It's a joke.
You've got it. how can I take it seriously if God is so stingy with God's truth?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. It has to be ubiquitous. It has to be gratuitous. That's the way it
And
is.
universally available.
And love and suffering are certainly available to
There
everybody.
you go.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes. And it's funny you say, I hope it doesn't. It's funny. It reminds me of a poem I think about all the time, but I'm going to be the one who can't remember who said it. But they're like asking the poet for another verse is like asking him to have his heart broken again, because we know that
Wow.
all of these things come from, the lotus grows in the mud. So even though you say, I hope the suffering doesn't come, isn't there a cheeky little part of us that goes, but I hope it does. But I hope it does. Because that's where there's so much
That's
richness.
why I say you're a philosopher. Very good. Very good.
I appreciate that. Well, love and suffering converting us and changing us and chasing us. I mean, that's really beautiful.
Good word. Good word.
Chasing, right?
Chasing.
Seducing.
The hound of heaven.
The hound of heaven.
Yeah, the hound of heaven.
But not the hound that wants you to not smoke or drink or swear or whatever. The hound that wants to devour you into itself, to return, right?
You're not just a philosopher. You're a mystic.
Stop it. You bring it out of me.
How do you see those things?
I can't help but, I mean, I don't know if I'm showing off, but I love you. And you've brought me to these things. You've brought me to these things. And it's fun to reflect them to you. I remember asking you about death, and I was asking you about, how can we trust? It comes down to a trust. You're going into an unknown. And then you look at the world, and there's so much craziness and suffering and pain. And then you go, how do we know that we're not going to die and transcend into some horrible place? And you talked about the mystical encounter. Do you remember, or what does that make you think of now? How one of the big issues is, how can we trust reality? How can we trust this God?
That's the biggie, really.
Yeah.
And the wounds of early life make that very difficult for an awful lot of people. When life wasn't trustworthy already as a little child, your heart just breaks for them.
Mm-hmm.
I met so many in the jail when I used to be chaplain there. They looked so macho and tough and sinister. And you sit there and hear their story. And they were little boys.
Yeah.
Crying for daddy's love.
Yeah.
Or mother's love.
Yes.
Or sometimes both.
Yes. Yeah. You helped me understand that my projection of in my version, it's the drunk dad. God is drunk dad, who if he gets close to me, he's going to devour me, or he's going to want to punish me, or it's not safe. But that has a lot. Would you say that has a lot more to do with psychology than an honest God encounter?
Yeah. That insight is a psychological insight that will help you limit your expectations or your wrong expectations of God. God is like my dad, or God is like my mother, or God is like a king or a queen, most of whom have been tyrants.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, I remember you saying the mystics always encounter a lover, not a tormentor.
That's right.
And isn't that's like one of the avenues of faith is sort of taking their word for it, going like, I believe that Meister Eckhart went somewhere and tasted something real. And he says that any talk of God that does not comfort you is a lie. And that quote blows me away.
Isn't that perfect?
And it sound like it lands. You know what I mean? You go,
of course.
Yes.
Of course.
There's an intuitive knowing of that, a recognizing.
Eckhart was such a mystic that the church never canonized him a saint.
Mm.
They didn't know what to do with that level of unitive consciousness.
Mm.
So they just sort of kept it at a distance, to our loss.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's exciting, though. I think one of the things the internet is doing is letting those cats out of those bags.
That's right.
Wouldn't you say? It's why do I know that? Well, I know that quote because of Father Boyle, but I mean, you hear these things and they get passed around, and it sort of can't be stopped. It's too delicious. It can't be stopped.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this, Padre. When I wanted to ask you specifically about John, it's John 10:30, which is I and the Father are one. Jesus says, I and the Father are one. I would love to hear what do you make of that claim? And I'll even load it a little bit more. From where I'm sitting today, I think Jesus is saying, I, the one I, the same knowing that you have and that I have before it's qualified by experience and our memories and our stories, but the knowing or the being that you are is I. Jesus didn't say Jesus and God are one. He said, I and the Father are one. I find that significant and a hint to the same I that you and I share is one with all that is. Is that, what do you make of that?
If I'm understanding you, you're saying it perfectly.
Mm.
You have to include individuation and communion and not give in on either end. They're both intensely true in a moment of great love, especially a moment of great love with God. You're more yourself than you ever were before, and we're given more permission to be yourself in the presence of divine love. But you're also utterly free from any need to make a spectacle of yourself as something special or different or above or worthy. It's a communing that all worthiness is shared, and yet it's an individual rejoicing in the same moment.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
and
good.
I'm not trying to drag you into the sacrilegious waters, sacrilegious, but I like sacrilegious because it's so tasty. But we Christians, and I'm sorry to bring you into the basics. I know there are new ideas to express, but people really love this stuff coming from you. When we get to what you essentially are and what I essentially am, that means in the deep sleep or the moment I'm born before I even know what I am.
Yes.
Take your moment. That being, that knowing, that sort of spacious awareness, that luminous emptiness, all these words, that kind of perceives and senses, but every sense is made of the knowing of that sense, that knowing is the only knowing there is. Again, Meister Eckhart, the eye with which I see God is the same eye that God sees me, that there is only one knowing. Do you see why I'm worried that we might get sacrilegious?
It's the only knowing that matters.
So if we're talking about it as consciousness, that the one consciousness, the I am, is the same I am that you are experiencing when you, Richard, say, I am.
Yes.
Yes. But you see how that can get tricky, right? I mean, people don't really want you to say that, do they?
Well, they're afraid you're claiming individual divinity.
Mm.
But our divinity is always shared. And they're so afraid of that. Why? There's much worse things to be afraid of than one's divinity. What they're really afraid of is egocentricity. But this is the opposite of egocentricity. It's precisely knowing you are one in the one, as Pope Leo's motto.
Yeah.
Illo uno unum. In the one, we are one.
And there's no room for specialness or narcissism or power in utter oneness.
Once you use it that way, you're not there anymore.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you're selling something else.
That's right.
Interesting. I love that.
Understand so well. Thank you.
Well, Pops, I read you every morning, and it's been utterly life-changing. And as I say to you every time we talk, that's why I have these verses written down that I'd love to talk to you about. I meet a lot of people that have deconstructed their Christianity, specifically their Christianity.
Oh, yes.
And then never reconstruct it.
Reconstruct.
And I mourn because that was very significant to me. And you were one of the very important voices that were like, let me show you where I went.
The reconstruction.
The reconstruction, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Can I throw another verse at you? John 8:58. Let's see how priestly you feel today. Do you know John 8:58? It's like being on Jeopardy.
Not the woman caught in adultery. It's what follows that. No, you're going to have to tell me.
I'll tell you. It's when Jesus says, before Abraham was, I am.
Oh, I am. Yes.
Yeah. What does that verse mean to you? It's the language of it is weird.
He's saying it to a Jewish audience. Abraham is, after Yahweh himself, the farthest they can reach into transcendence. And so he's using a language they can understand. Abraham is as far back as they can reach in their history. And he's saying, I was there. Mm-hmm. It's a daring statement.
Isn't it? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's even by normal standards, it's a heretical statement. Don't they pull out their hair when he says that?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pardon the interruption, weirdos. This episode is brought to us by our friends at TUSHY. TUSHY Bidets. You got to up your bathroom game, and TUSHY Bidets is the perfect way to do it. Have you ever been emotionally scarred riding the subway? I have, and seen a literal butt sweat print left on the seat? Well, it's time to rethink how we're caring for our swampiest body parts. Get your ass a TUSHY Bidet. TUSHY is the everyday luxury bidet. That is not a paradox. That's not an oxymoron. It's everyday, meaning you need one, and it's luxury that you can get instantly onto your toilet that transforms your bathroom habit and your bottom health for life. There's a bidet for every biohacking personality type, like the Cloud Plus, which automatically deodorizes the air when you sit down, and Aura, which automatically opens the seat when you enter the bathroom. You didn't know you wanted that, but you do. I also love the light inside. TUSHY's Bidet, the elevated bidet collection, nurtures your bottom with instant warm water that never runs cold, a soothing heated seat, and UV sterilization for next level hygiene, and all TUSHY bidets easily attached to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. So keep your swampiest body parts fresh and cool. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use our code WEIRD at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet at hellotushy.com with promo code WEIRD. We are also brought to us by our friends at MUDWTR, the warm, delicious mix of cacao, chai, and adaptogenic mushrooms that dials me into feeling focused and refreshed with just the right amount of energy without feeling jittery or wired. I'm obsessed with MUDWTR because it's not just energy, it's warm, grounded feeling that it gives you, not jacked, but earthy and solid for when 3 p.m. rolls around and you're losing energy, but don't want another cup of coffee for the jitters and the lack of sleep that comes with it, and there is no crash. It's 100% organic, gluten-free, vegan coffee alternative that's so chock full of goodness, it's no wonder it makes you feel amazing. Mushrooms and superfoods to boost your energy, focus, and your immune system. Cacao and chai for a hint of caffeine and a hot chocolate-like flavor. If you're ready to make the switch to cleaner energy, head to MUDWTR, MUDWTR.com, and grab the starter kit today. Right now, Weirdos get an exclusive deal up to 43% off your entire order plus free shipping and a free rechargeable frother when you use code WEIRD. That's right, up to 43% off with code WEIRD at MUDWTR.com. After your purchase, be sure to tell them we sent you Support your morning or your afternoon routine and support the show because life's too short for anything less than clean, delicious energy. So you were looking up John 8:58 before Abraham was, I am, in my thinly veiled attempt to get us, to nudge us onto the non-duality of Christ.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get any stronger quote than that one. That's the end of chapter 8. We call that a high Christology. You don't find that everywhere in even in John's gospel, but that's about as high as it gets.
Right.
Where Abraham came to be, I am.
Yes.
Which is really the divine name, I am.
Yes.
Jesus normally doesn't walk around claiming divinity, but if there's lines that get close to it, that's one right there.
And then I guess, again, I know you're not worried about being in trouble. I just suppose that I am, to really put a pin on it, is the I am that you and I are experiencing right now.
It has to be.
Right?
Of course. But our level of experiential consciousness probably is not as advanced as his. I think it's safe to say that.
Yes.
Not putting ourselves down.
Right, but on that point, I just saw this clip and it made me so... It's probably Pete stuff that made me upset about it. But somebody was telling the story about when someone touched Jesus's garment. And Jesus said, who touched me? And as they're explaining the story, they said, and of course, Jesus knew who touched him. Like they had to rescue Jesus's humanity.
Yeah.
And I think I'm in a small group here that gets very upset when we're like, can't he not? Why is he Superman? Yeah. Does he have to be Superman? Yeah.
We have to preserve his divinity as if that was our job to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But go ahead, please. Everything
I was just going to say, that's very common.
Yes.
Of course, he knew already. He knew all things. But the miracle of transformation is holding on to the fullness with which he identified with his humanity and our humanity.
Yes.
Hold that in creative tension with before Abraham came to be, I am.
Yes.
They're both true at the same time.
Isn't that the whole of Christianity, Father? Isn't that the whole of it? Isn't it important that he didn't know who touched him? Isn't it more valuable that he was a person looking out eyes and felt something? Why does he have to be the all in all that goes, I told you to touch me and you did it because I wanted to heal you and I'm writing this and I'm reading it? Like, he has to be a person.
He knew how to live with paradox in non-duality easily. You and I normally don't. Yeah. So we want to make him choose sides. Yeah. Choose your divine side. And don't let us see the other.
Yes.
He held both of them beautifully.
Well, you even see it in the Christmas Carol, Away in a Manger. It says, no crying he makes. Like even baby Jesus isn't allowed to cry. They get him right out the gate.
I never thought of that.
He wasn't even colicky. It's like, what is gained? It's one of the reasons I don't like Superman as a superhero. It's like, what is gained by this perfection that he doesn't even know crying? Or you see how hard the gospel writers work to kind of explain away why he let John the Baptist baptize him or why he was following John in the first place.
You know your scriptures better than we Catholics.
No, I probably learned it from you. I took note, and again, I'm not trying to keep us sacrilegious here. I'm saying, like, in my understanding of Jesus, he, like all of us, went on a journey. He was order, disorder, reorder.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why what he's saying when he says, I am the way, the path of growth, path of development, the path of unfolding. We've got to walk the same path. You don't start where you end.
Yes. Right. Yeah. What is the point?
What's the point?
What is the point?
You're a
Yes.
wise man.
Stop it. Stop it.
No, you are. You are.
No, this will be one that when I'm in a nursing home, Val will replay this episode for me, and I'll just smile ear to ear. And I'll be like, Richard loved me. You love me so perfectly. I love it.
I wish.
Let me throw another one at you. Acts 17:28. For in him we live and move and have our being. This is a different understanding of God somewhere else, something else, watching, judging, thinking about it, and punishing or rewarding. But in him I live and move and have my being. I know you like that verse.
Oh, I do.
Tell me about it.
They show you the spot. Have you been to Athens ever?
I have, but I didn't see what you're about to say.
We know almost the exact spot
Wow.
where Paul preached and used that line.
And how is that significant? Is it a...
Well, it shows how already Paul knew to the group he was speaking to and how to adjust his word to the way they thought. It was a great lesson for later Christianity, which we didn't get. He's talking philosophically. One in whom we live and move and have our being. He isn't quoting directly the Old Testament. He's quoting the way a rational Athenian would think.
Wow. So he's bending towards them.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah. Well, you've convinced me that Paul is a genius, a spiritual genius. I listened to your tapes on him and got very excited about him as well. Whereas I think, like a lot of people, I dismissed him as a misogynist or whatever it might have been.
Yeah, it's
a shame.
too easy.
It's too easy.
Yeah.
It's, when my daughter when she says poop, you know what I say to her? I go, be funnier than poop. That's what I say. I don't say don't say poop. I say be funnier than poop. In this house, we're funnier than poop. And I give her an example. Say, don't call me a poop, call me a monkey's butt or whatever you want. Like something better than Paul was a misogynist.
No wonder she loves her father.
Well, you know what else I also think about, because she still climbs in bed with us, and I think of the Trinity. I think of what you say about the three, the love that she must feel in the what is it? The valley between the mountains of her parents.
Between the two partners.
Yeah, yeah. So I was trying to nudge you towards the participant. God is the ultimate participant, not just Rupert Spiro, who I love very much, talks about God or awareness being like the screen and we're in the movie. That's a way of understanding it's in this Christ that we live and move and have our being.
That's a good metaphor.
Isn't it?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Isn't that great? He's not the only one that uses it, but like when the Vedantic teachers came to the West, they did what Paul did, and they talked to people who were watching a lot of movies, and they adapted the metaphor. And isn't that great? Because it helps me. A joke that I'm working on that I don't think I'll ever get is I go, I believe in God. Don't get me wrong. I don't think God exists. I don't think you can go somewhere and see something subject to object called God. It's like we're characters in a movie talking about the screen, right?
You're a mystic.
Stop it.
Mysticism 101.
It's Mysticism 101.
You just said it.
Right?
But you said it with conviction. Thank you. Why are more Christians there? I don't get it.
I mean, our beloved Mirabai Star is there. These are the pointers who taught me about these mystics that have these encounters. But that sort of, we're not going to open a door and see, it's Oz. Talk about where we borrow our images from. It's Oz behind the curtain. We think God is something somewhere, but strictly speaking, God does not exist in the way that you and I exist.
Another object of consciousness, but consciousness itself, yes.
Exactly. Not something that appears in consciousness, but it's the paper that everything's written on.
That's good.
Because everything that appears in consciousness must disappear. That's how it goes.
Yes.
So we're talking, this is why I think you, me, Father Boyle, all agree that tell me if you agree, that you can talk to people about religion and half will leave, half will, maybe 3/4 will leave. But if you talk about what doesn't change in reality, if you talk about the essence of reality, people tend to lean in. Would you find?
Lean in, yes. Now, some turn you off there too,
Yeah.
but it's a better road than getting religious too quickly.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, scares people with good reason.
Yes.
We've seen religion so misused in our lifetime, in the history of the world, really.
It seems to be, it's not its main purpose, but one of its big purposes is to enslave, trap, coerce, control. We don't have to get into that. You know this.
Yeah,
It can be misused.
it can be, yeah. But we don't have time to keep beating a dead horse of the mistakes it made.
Yes.
It's like beating the dead horse of the mistakes I've made.
Yes.
Get over it, of course.
Yes.
And maybe, do I say it in the new book? In my age now, I feel like I'm forgiving everything for being what it is.
Mm.
Everything.
Mm.
Everything. And it's starting with me.
Yeah.
Universal forgiveness. I don't have time for anything else. I just don't.
Yeah. And do you find that to be an intellectual exercise or more of a contemplative releasing, a cessation of an effort to judge or criticize into yourself? Or how would you phrase it?
Definitely the second, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, contemplative flow that almost comes naturally now.
Yeah.
You've heard me speak of the two halves of life. This is terrible mathematics, but I can't help but feel that I'm in the third half of life. That's all. We're just so much, it doesn't matter. Stop fighting about it.
Mm.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It just makes you argumentative. The vital flow that God is, and that's a fairly good metaphor.
Mm.
When you don't plug into the vital flow that affirms, chooses, says yes to what's right in front of it, you almost always go to a negative flow of opposing, accusing. I'm sure you've been told Satan means the accuser.
Mm.
When highly accusatory people on the left as much as the right
Mm-hmm.
don't go there.
It's almost like the devil or Satan. You just said it. Satan is at the
Satan, yeah.
It's almost, that's an activity. It's a way that we can start. Everything is analyzed, labeled, othered, pushed away.
Yes.
And categorized.
While I was looking for this passage you quoted at the end of John's Gospel, I saw a passage that I'd never noticed before. John 8:48. Are we not right in saying you are a Samaritan and therefore possessed by a devil? I never noticed that before.
How perfect for the new book, the scapegoating.
Yeah, it's just, there's direct scapegoating.
And nothing new.
They're direct neighbors, the Samaritans.
Yes.
They have a devil.
Yes. Aren't you an immigrant? Aren't you eating your pets?
Aren't you gay? Aren't you?
Yes. And again, you've taught me this. There's nothing more pleasant or cheap. It's like fast food identity verification to say, I'm not these people and these people are wrong. And it's sort of devilishly delicious to kind of devour that othering. And it makes you exist in contrast.
You should edit this program and just cut me out of it. You keep talking. You're talking beautifully.
Stop it.
Good.
I can't.
You don't have a degree in theology, do you?
No, just from Richard Rohr University. I want you to know the rest of your day that there's thousands of people like me that have read everything you've written and that carry it. That don't just carry it. It's permeated our bones, our cells. I meet them every day. So I want you to allow a little bit of good feeling for that.
It feels too good to be true, but thank you.
Oh, I love it. Here's a hot question that you have full cut of this. I don't think it's going to throw you, but is there something you would change about the Bible? Like when we talk about and to really widen it out, stuff that's kind of caused more harm than good, a little stuff that's just been a little too in the way that we cling to and maybe would have been nice if it wasn't there.
What comes to mind, first of all, is the preoccupation with sin. And it's almost entirely defined as purity codes. That's early stage religiosity, where you try to create a cult of innocence, that I am not a sinner. Whereas what we see in Jesus is solidarity with sinners. We don't catch the radicality of that, eating with them. And as Paul even says, he became sin. He's on a different track than we are, this seeking to prove that we're innocent. We clergy became sin managers, and as if we could, if we just thought of the many different faces of evil, and there are, evil is real, but as Pope Leo just said, evil will not have the final word. I trust he's right. The preoccupation with sin. If there's one book I wish we hadn't included, it's definitely the book of Revelation. It has done more damage because it's all archetypal, mythological science fiction. And people don't know how to read that.
Right.
And so they interpret it all in the most useless ways.
Well, that's where we always get the world's going to end on whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you. And it's interesting. I think it might have been you, it might have been Rob Bell, that talked about the Bible itself sort of has the arc of a human life, the way we were saying. It starts in that sort of, you have to. It starts where you're building your container, good, bad, right, wrong. And then as it goes, it gets pretty radically where you are, which is who cares? Let's settle down.
The third half of life.
The third half of life.
Terrible math.
It's wonderful.
You get it. Yeah.
Yeah. The allowing and the surrender. This is something I thought recently. We waste a lot of time talking about whether or not the Bible happened. But this sounds like something you would have said. Isn't the issue more, is it happening? Like right now, Richard,
that's nice.
Is it happening right now? Are you and I enabling each other's right seeing? Like, am I reflecting back to you your worthiness, your beauty, your inclusion? Are you reflecting it to me? Can we get in our sense knowing?
But the sad thing, Pete, is a lot of people weren't even told that's what they should be wanting to see in others or in the world. I should want to condemn the world. Oh my God. So when it isn't even a goal to seek communion, it's something that's made fun of.
Yeah.
It's lightweight. Well, that comes from our superficial definition of love. Sentimental, good feeling.
Right.
Not a harsh and dreadful thing.
Right.
Dawson told me from behind me, that was Dostoevsky.
Oh,
yeah.
The harsh and dreadful thing.
Love is a harsh and dreadful thing. And Dorothy Day, who worked with the street people in New York, she used that line very often.
Oh, is that right?
Love is a harsh and dreadful thing.
Yeah, is a better definition than a warm feeling or liking somebody. Well, again, Rupert Spira would say, me recognizing our shared divinity. That's one way of putting it. Like, or namaste, when you're in the center of your heart or I'm in the center of my heart, we're the same.
We're the same.
That's authentic. And that in the same way that I can allow myself, I can allow you. It's kind of like, I benefit from thinking of like a dream. In a dream, it's all your mind. And it's absurd to say, this is good or this is bad. It's all just kind of one thing, kind of seeing reality and seeing your neighbor as the same one thing. That's a way of looking at love, right? It's like we're all in God's dream.
Did you get nothing but A's in college?
Stop it.
Your mind is amazing.
Stop it. You stop it.
Forthright is so true. How did Western education not mess you up? That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Pops, you are too good to me. I love it so much. I am getting a lot of that from Rupert Spira, who I love. But you're done reading books. It's over.
And writing books.
This is it.
His recent one on the prophets is the last one.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit before I leave you to your day. Sacred criticism, good trouble, solidarity, the transformation of tears, commiserating and grieving, with others. Talk a little bit about.
Well, in our school here at the center in New Mexico, one constant in the 38 years of our history is I would teach our interns and students the Jewish prophets. So it forced me to really work with them. And I, like many people, get just tired and angry of their railing and yelling and condemning, their preoccupation with sin. They all start there. And if you had a rageaholic father or mother, you just can't hear any more of that. It's unhearable, literally. But what I also learned to do over these years was stay with them. They start angry, but they end sad. What I try to do in my last book is chart that journey from anger to sadness. Sadness feeds the soul. It expands you. Anger just emboldens the ego and strengthens your againstness. That's a satanic impulse. Yeah.
And you do a lot of men's work. Don't most men, or is it just me? When I'm feeling angry, I go, oh, I'm sad about something. There's sadness right under it, and a protector lays over it and gets real blustery to hide the broken heart.
Well, all I know is the years I gave male initiation rites up here at Ghost Ranch, the one-liner that most stuck with men was on the third day of grief, as it was called. I would say it very pointedly. Many of you think you are angry, and perhaps you are. Many of you think your father is an angry man, and probably he is. But let me tell you something even more true. Before what you're naming as anger is named, recognize its sadness. You're deeply sad. And literally, a lot of the men would just straighten up in their chair. I had their attention, almost as if the whole week pivoted on that saying, wanting to get in touch with that deep sadness.
Yeah.
So it became the title of this book, The Tears of Things. That everything has tears. Everything has sadness. And if you can get in touch with that empathetically, you're a long way down the road of wisdom and holiness. And that's why Jesus calls it a blessed state. Blessed are those who weep. That's really quite amazing. No imperial religion would ever say, blessed are those who weep. No, that's religion coming from a different source than the Roman Empire. Yeah.
It's funny how it's right there, right? I mean, he said it, and we're like, sure. The Sermon on the Mount has a certain white noise to it, wouldn't you say? Like we've heard it so many times. You're actually you can't hear it.
It's pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't hear it. That's right.
But blessed are those who weep. Yeah. So you think that cracking heart thing is sacred ground?
Yeah. I wish instead of putting the 10 Commandments on the courthouse lawn, we put the 8 Beatitudes. It would never enter our mind as Americans, forgive me, to do that. The 8 Beatitudes are utterly countercultural to the American agenda of winning and success and accomplishment.
And haven't you said, it's funny to quote you to you, the joke on the show is if there was a drinking game, every time I quoted you, people would go blind. But to quote you to you, that Christianity is sort of the religion of how to lose well.
Yes. How to lose gracefully.
Yeah. But we've turned it into how to win.
How to succeed.
Yeah.
A winner's script, which put us all in the wrong direction. And the sad result is nobody wins. We all pretend.
Yes. Oh, you've been to Hollywood? Always. If you've ever been to a Hollywood party, it's a very confusing thing because it's all these special people. I'm saying as a special, in quotes, person that goes to these parties. We don't know what to do if there's no audience telling us that we're special. If we're all special, the whole thing falls apart. So the Met Gala is a very, I've never been, but I'm saying it's a confusing place. If we're all sparkly, none of us are sparkly. We need the others gawking and fawning, or suddenly none of us are winning anymore. It's bizarre. I'm not saying that really from my first perspective. I'm saying those places can be very lonely because it's not real. It's not a real win. It's a pretend, you pretend I win, I'll pretend I'm a winner kind of winning.
Philosophers would say it has no substance.
Yeah.
It has no substance.
Yes. So you have been to Hollywood. Well, Pops, is there anything else about the book? Just we'll give it a big push in the beginning. I certainly want to.
I'm not here to have you push the book. Oprah held it up 4 times.
Oh, wow.
I said, you don't have to do that. And she's a dear.
How was it seeing her this last time?
Well, she's getting younger. She's
wow.
Make her happy. She just looked 15 years younger than the last time I was with her.
Wow.
I think she's doing well.
I love that she's probably a reason why I know who you are. Here's one final area. Do you have any thought on AI? Is that something you pay attention to at all, artificial intelligence?
I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah.
I really don't. I know it's going to be another paradox with a bunch of good effects and some bad. So the only thing I can say is we're going to need wise people to help us see the difference.
We'll talk about,
Someone put my name in and said, have Richard Rohr give a talk on, I can't remember what the subject was. It took about 3 minutes. I read it and I said, my God, that's me.
Wow.
That's the way I talk. Wow. My metaphors, my aphorisms, we've achieved this level of genius.
Yeah.
I'll bet they could be almost as funny as you.
You know, of course, that's where my mind went. If you ask it to write a joke in the style of me, it's not there yet. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying that probably because there's less me to mimic than there is you. There is something rather interesting that, like, to consider future generations might be able to have a conversation with an amalgamation of you based on conversations like this. This will be more data for some sort of recreation machine of each of us. Isn't that wild?
You're wild. Thank you.
Thank you, Pops. I love you so much.
You've shown it in 100 ways.
I'm glad. I'm very glad. And we are coming to New Mexico. I don't know when, but we are coming, and we will see you soon. It's going to happen.
Oh, that'd be great.
We have to.
Okay.
It's
Love
always
you, Pete.
Thank
You're
you.
the best.
Pops,
The best.
you are the best. Would you please, my friend, would you say keep it crispy? It's the silly way we end the show. You've done it twice before. Here's
Keep
Richard
it
Rohr.
crispy.
Thank you, my friend.
We ones don't know how to be humorous.
You're doing great.
Thank you for teaching me.
Of course. Thank you, Pops.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.